big this year. Quit my job. Hi everyone, my name is Jasmine and welcome to my art channel. So I've been wanting to start an art channel for a really long time. I'm really excited about it. I finally have the opportunity to do it because I did something big this year. Quit my job. Yeah, I quit my job as a full-time English teacher in public education system. So shout out to my students if you're watching this. Hey, what's up? I decided to start this channel because I really want to document my journey as a teacher, transitioning back to my creative side. Today's video, I'm sharing my sketchbook spread. I'm going to be talking about the story of why I reached burnout and why I finally decided to take a chance on myself to listen to my body. So stay tuned.
So at this point in the video, feel free to grab your sketchbook. You can draw along as you listen to my story, or you can simply just watch my process as I work on this sketchbook spread. So I was an English teacher in the public school system for 4 years, and I spent those 4 years trying not to be a statistic. I didn't want to be the new teacher who quits before year 5, and I really thought I'd be different. I loved reading, I loved the kids. I really felt that teaching was who I am. And I felt like I had to make it to some invisible deadline that honestly no other person was keeping for me except for myself. And that's a constant throughout my life. I had been striving to uphold a perfect standard. And a key thread that unraveled into burnout was the fact that no matter how hard I tried as a teacher, I could never reach that ideal standard. There was always mountains of work with little time to climb. And I was constantly blamed for a system that was struggling long before I ever set foot into a classroom. At my last session, my doctor asked me, what is the difference between then and now? You stuck it out at your last school for 3 years. And that question really threw me for a loop. I honestly did not know how to respond to it, but after some reflection, the difference? I didn't know that it was acceptable to do anything differently. The way I was raised, you don't give up easily. And I realized the toll that it was taking on my mental health, but I didn't see another choice. Thought I was fortunate to have a job that I went to school for, that I quote unquote loved, when so many, including those in my immediate family, didn't have such a luxury. So for my very first year of teaching, I learned to swallow my overstimulation as nourishment. And it didn't come to the forefront until it was a hunger pain that needed to be fed, pushed away, and ignored again. Yeah, I got bars, y'all. That's that English teacher coming out. But in all seriousness, I would constantly be tired from the day and still immediately call my friends and family on the drive from work when I just needed silence. It seemed that no one outside of the teaching profession understood my need for silence.
Slowly, as a result, I saw my creativity die. Ironically, right, after spending 8 hours in our school, I left uninspired and drained. I found I couldn't do my favorite things. Instead, my mind was consumed by work emails and lesson plans. You know, my first year, I didn't take a single day off until March. Yeah, you heard me clearly. I didn't take a single day off until March, and that's not to neglect the breaks. Yes, of course, we get those breaks. Probably in my future videos, I'm going to go into how those breaks don't even factor into the amount of rest you need to recover as a teacher. However, I didn't take a single day off until March of my first year. So I was going full steam ahead. And all I saw was that it got progressively worse. And where I used to have an outlet when I got home, I used to love to write, I used to love to draw, those things simply didn't exist anymore. I went to sleep and woke up to repeat the same miserable process. I realized I no longer found my career as a teacher worth the cost of losing out on myself. And when I think of a time when I felt most like myself, it was during those hours I spent investing myself in the things that I loved. In my art, in my spirituality, all those things. So Even though it means having no backup plan and living in uncertainty for a little while, I am choosing to return to my creativity. So going back to when my doctor asked me recently, what's the difference between then and now? What made you resign this time? Well, back then, I ignored my body. But there comes a time when the body is too tired to ignore. I was so tired of putting others' expectations above my own needs. Instead, I'm listening to my body, and I hear that it's asking for a break. And ironically, it took almost breaking to finally listen, but I am listening now. And that's the point. So if you're watching this, you're burnt out too, I hope my story can remind you that you're allowed to listen to your body. You are allowed to step back when the responsibilities feel too heavy. And you're allowed to create again. So for today's sketchbook illustrations, you see I'm using acrylic markers, a little bit of gouache as well. The acrylic markers is something that's really new for me. This year, I'm really committing to using more color when I draw and just being more experimentative with that. So you see my creativity blossoming here with these. So that concludes the story time for today's video. In my next video, I'm continue this series. I'm going to be going into more detail about the warning signals that I ignored while surviving. So be sure to check that out if you feel you may be on the road to burnout but are unsure of the signs. And if you like this video, please be sure to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you want to learn more with me on this journey of reconnecting to my creativity after burnout.